Hey friends! Today I want to talk about pushing our edges and the terror barrier, also known as why it is totally normal and to be expected that you are freaking out and having a hard time. So anytime that we do this deeper growth and healing work, it requires pushing our edges. And basically what pushing our edges means is that we are bumping up against the places that are uncomfortable. So sometimes when we go on the high end of this window of tolerance that we have, so the window of tolerance is basically what you're used to and comfortable around, what you tolerate in your day-to-day, different feelings, experiences, certain things that you're okay with and not okay with. So it's our window of tolerance. And when we push it high on the top end, what can happen is that we can get anxious. So we can get aroused, we can get panicky. That's where panic attacks happen a lot of the times. And if we go too far on the bottom, that's where we shut down. So depending on your response when you push your edges, it just kind of depends on if you're going on the high or the low end. I have a great video about this that I'll link to as well. But when we are doing our healing and growth work, we have to push our edges, which means we have to go outside of the realm of what is known, familiar, and comfortable. And when we're healing harder things, sometimes we have to put ourselves in positions where we might get anxious, we might get panicky, we might trigger our grief or the hard feelings and all these things that we've worked so hard to avoid feeling, because that is what we need to do in order to move them through and process and heal them. So when we start stepping into the next level in our growth and healing, or just in who we're being in the world, so we want to do something that's big and exciting, that feels impossible, we have to go outside of our comfort zone and we have to push our edges. And when we do that, we're either going to shut down or we're going to freak out. We're going to go into a tizzy, we're going to have a fit, we're going to have a panic attack, we're going to have all of these emotions, and it's going to be hard. And that is normal. That is such a normal part of the process when it comes to growth and healing that I don't feel like we talk enough about. I wrote another post about this morning that you can find on my pages as well, talking about how, of course, it's hard. Of course, you're going to slip up and fail and not know how to do things. Of course, it's going to suck. And of course, it's going to bring up a whole lot of emotions and experiences that aren't pleasant, aren't fun, aren't enjoyable. And depending on what it is that you're doing, those experiences are going to look a little bit different, but it happens. And it's such a normal part of the process. And so what I see happen with myself, as well as with a lot of clients, and you might experience this as well, is that you start doing something new. No matter how big or small, you're doing something that is meant to help you heal or grow or step into what comes next. And maybe it goes well for a day or two or even a week, but pretty soon you find yourself in a mess of emotions, feeling like crap, struggling to do the things that you said you would do, and having all of these hard and challenging experiences. And we falsely believe that that means we're not cut out for it, or we're not doing it right, or something is wrong, when really that is just part of the process. And I want to talk a little bit about the terror barrier. It's probably its own video, but there are normal highs and lows in our day-to-day. And when we change something, those highs get really high and the lows get really low. So it's that same idea of the window of tolerance. We're pushing our edges and we start to freak out. What most people do when that freak out happens is they revert. They go back to what's known and familiar, because then it's comfortable. Maybe they're not happy where they are, but they're used to riding this level of the wave. But the terror barrier is a normal part of growth and healing. We have to be willing to ride it out and really double down on the work that we're doing and the resources that we have and the tools that we use in order to get through to the other side. It's just what it's like to get to the new normal. It's such an important and necessary part of the process, and people leave that out when they share their stories of rising up and coming back, or healing and growth, or doing the impossible, because it's not pretty. Nobody likes going through it, let alone having to share and talk about it. So that's what I want to share today, is that this is normal. If you're struggling and you're starting something new, or you're trying to grow and heal, it's a normal part of the process. What that struggle looks like is going to be different for each of us, but you are not doing it wrong, and it does not mean that you're incapable. Leave me a comment or a question below if I can answer anything for you, and I will be back soon in another video.